Thank you, sir, for your kind words and aptly mentioning not limiting science to laboratories and outlining the importance of startups to take R&D efforts forward. I now humbly request Honorable Minister, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to release the brochure, followed by launch of website and app for IISF 2022. I now solicit Honorable Minister, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to kindly address the gathering, please.
Thank you. Adharaniya Mantri Saklecha ji, PSA Professor Sood, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale Mishra ji, Dr. Sudhanshu, Dr. Badaria, members of the scientific fraternity, friends from media, and also some young students over here. I was asking how the hall is so full. Have we suddenly grown so popular in the media? Then I was told that there were others also. So I'm glad that we have all the stakeholders and those who are interested in this theme. I think much has been said, so it's at the risk of being repetitive. I'll just touch upon one or two things which comprise the highlight or which might not have been fully brought into notice. सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि ये 8वां ऐसा उत्सव है. सकलेचा जी हमारे बड़े पुराने मित्र हैं, विज्ञान में इनको बड़ी रुचि है. He has a natural temper for science. बड़े समय से ये आग्रह कर रहे थे कि मध्य प्रदेश में इस प्रकार का आयोजन हो, लेकिन हमें गिला इनसे एक ही है कि इन्होंने कभी ये नहीं कहा कि साइंस कॉलोनी की कल्पना की हुई है इन्होंने. यदि ऐसा होता तो शायद 8 फेस्टिवल तक रुकना ना पड़ता, ये पहला ही नहीं किया हुआ होता. और कुछ एक हमारे मित्रों ने आज तक वहाँ पर कुछ निर्माण कार्य भी शुरू कर दिया होता. But anyway, it speaks of his passion and his great commitment to the cause of science. दूसरा ये कि this is a very pleasant coincidence, rather I would say a providential coincidence, that when India takes over the presidency of G20, this is going to be one of the first major events. And I think this is also an occasion to highlight some of the important breakthroughs and achievements which have happened in the field of science, technology, innovation under Prime Minister Modi in the last 8 to 9 years. A, जैसे कि I think PSA साहब was saying कि उसको प्रयोगशाला तक सीमित नहीं रखना. I think the great breakthrough which has been done is to move science out of laboratory into land, as you say, lab to land, and virtually now into every Indian household. दूसरा, application of science in day-to-day living to bring ease of living for the common citizen and also for facilitating infrastructural development. आज आप देखिए चाहे smart cities का program है, चाहे railways है, चाहे roads and buildings है, health, agriculture, everywhere, science is being increasingly used, and there's been a conscious effort to do that because interministerial meetings have been arranged so that each ministry could learn what all technology is available. Technology is available in abundance. Virtually every technology available anywhere in the world is now available in India. Only the stakeholders are not always aware of it. तीसरा, पिछले कुछ सालों में there has been a very conscious and a consistent effort to link scientific research with livelihood, with startups. And I think this is evident from the fact that from 350 we have gone to over 80,000 today and ranking third in the startup ecosystem in the world. Chautha ke, for the first time, I think very visibly, this government, because something that didn't happen at the government level earlier, government has given esteem to science and scientists. पहले क्या होता था कि सरकार उस समय आपका प्रयास सम्मान तब मिलता था जब आप नोबेल प्राइज वहां से लेके आते. Now it's the other way around, and because we have a prime minister who has a temper for science, who values the science and the scientific pursuits. And last but not the least, integration of all the science streams. As we have started, we sit together, all the 6-7 departments, and a wider integration which is evident from the participation of the gentleman sitting at the end of this dais, Vigyan Bharti. So it's no longer in silos, of course, but it's a whole of government plus whole of society and whole of nation that we are also trying to project through this event. And therefore, all this, what I've said in the last few months, gives us enough reason to celebrate. And how do you celebrate? Hold a festival. So we have a festival. And it's been held in different parts of the country. That is also in keeping with the tone and tenor of this government. We have moved out of Vigyan Bhavan, we have moved out of New Delhi, and that applies to all the other departments also to which we are linked, whether it's administrative reforms, whether it's Department of Personnel Training. And जैसे अभी आपको बताया राजेश जी ने, some of the hallmarks, student innovation, face-to-face frontiers, non-formal educative interactions. These are some of the new ingredients. I'm glad that with each festival, each such event, we are evolving, learning from the experience of the earlier event and trying to. And therefore, I earnestly solicit the cooperation of the media, the opinion makers, because you can spread across this message far and wide. अब जैसे आखिर में मिश्रा जी की स्लाइड देख रहे, because I usually talk from what I learn from others, and that's gives the advantage of speaking in the end. मिश्रा जी की लास्ट स्लाइड अगर आपने देखी होगी तो उसमें था मार्चिंग टुवर्ड्स अमृतकाल. Now when you do so, I think one or two small submissions. Now when we move towards these times, we are part of a global world. So our themes have to be global, our concerns have to be global, to be noticed globally with futuristic bearing. So global themes with global concerns and with a futuristic bearing. And that automatically would include, I think, I'm sure, which you do, the energy concerns, the climate concerns, the sustainability concerns. As I always say, the next level would be how to sustain this movement of startups. And I think this should be used as an occasion to identify and groom A, the young scientific brains across the country, B, the potential startups. अभी क्या है कि हम उन स्टार्टअप्स को सहयोग भी देते हैं, सहायता भी देते हैं. We become technology, knowledge partners, also do funding to those who somehow reach us. But they may not be the best, just as we may not be the best. All of us are incidentally here. Not that these are the best persons to be here where you are. I'm very clear about it. That keeps you grounded also. So in order to actually put in the best of what we can do in the process of nation building, can we do something to try to identify the best who may not have reached us? तो उसके लिए एक मैंने छोटा सा सुझाव है मिश्रा जी. We could have a mentor's desk. In this 4 days is a long enough period of time. So some innovation. A mentor's desk where both the students and their parents are welcome. वो जाए ऐसी जिज्ञासा होगी कि साहब ये मेंटर्स डेस्क इसका अर्थ क्या, मतलब क्या, परिभाषा क्या, इसके पीछे भाव क्या. तो जाएंगे तो उस बातचीत में कोई हमारे ऐसे लोग बैठे हों who have been teachers, who have been science background, they can extract. Because sometimes the parents as well as the individual youngster either underestimate themselves or overestimate. Sometimes they overestimate themselves in respect of one potential which may not be sufficiently present and are not aware of the other potential. Like जैसे फिल्मों में सारे जाते हैं हीरो बनने, बाद में समझ आता है कि नहीं मैं तो डायरेक्टर बन सकता था, हीरो वाली तो जरूरत ही नहीं थी. And you have so many examples, I don't want to name them. We have many successful directors, film directors who went there to become heroes. इसी तरह से माँ बाप को भी नहीं पता होता, हो सकता है हर बच्चा हीरो है, लेकिन हो सकता है उसकी दूसरी प्रतिभा में वो ज़्यादा अच्छा काम करता हो. तो how best, so that for that we need mentors before they get trapped in the rut of the mill monotony of the society as well as the family concept. So we could have that kind of an experiment. And the theme also could be identification of potential startups, A, B, startup for the newer areas which are exclusive to India but not fully explored. Like for example, agriculture sector is totally exclusive to, is much more, barring some countries like Australia. B, the oceans. The startup movement in the ocean area, Dr. Jitendra is there, is yet to take over. But we have a huge potential. We are exclusive. We have to educate because अभी तक क्या हुआ, धारणा ये चली गई है startup is usually identified with IT, which is not so. Startup does not mean science startup. It's more of innovation. So you could have a non-scientific background boy or a girl who could be a startup. So ये तीसरा ये जो myth है, 3-4. पहला myth ये कि science, I mean scientific background gives you an advantage, but you not necessarily. The best of the agri startups may not be educated in agriculture science or holding a BSc agriculture degree. दूसरा, it has nothing to do with age. क्योंकि livelihood इसके साथ जुड़ गया है कहीं ना कहीं, तो हमारी मानसिकता में घूमता रहता है 30-35 साल का. We had recently an exhibition which was not actually much visited for startups above 60, and I was amazed the manner it was carried out. So it's starting up. You are starting up a venture. You're not starting up your age. So ये सारी चीजें हम समझा सकें तो एक we will be doing service to the society. And this is also a great equalizer with the modern technology. Like जैसे आप gender की बात कर रहे थे सकलेचा जी, वो इसलिए भी है कि there were certain areas where some of the physical attributes required gave advantage to a male gender. Like for example farming. तो हल जोतने के लिए आपको you always visualize male because you didn't want to put women under pressure. So it also gave you a very tragic picture of a Mother India kind. But it's no longer so. You sit on a computer, you use drone. आपने हिलना भी नहीं, खेत में जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. वही ड्रोन जाके सिंचाई कराता है, कीटाणुनाशक भी फेंक आता है, पेस्टिसाइड होता है. It doesn't ask whether it's a male farmer or a female farmer. It doesn't require too much of a physical exertion as well. So ये चीजें जो है हम लोगों तक highlight कर सके, तो I think this will give a unique, different kind of identity. And sure, we look forward to Saklecha ji's hospitality. और कॉलोनी अगर नहीं भी बनी तब भी आएंगे. Thank you.
Yeah, sir, with your kind permission, we could take a few questions from media, sir. So with your kind permission, yeah. So the floor is open now for the questions, friends. Anil Sagar from PTI.
So you referred to the G20 Are any specific events planned around science during this year?
No, actually, they have identified 56 locations across the country, different events happening at different places. As far as science is concerned, we have one Science 20 event, which is, I think, in Coimbatore. नहीं, 5 पूरी है ना करके, जो मेन है तो वो कंप्यूटर कौन सी
S20 will be happening in Coimbatore.
नहीं, कब डेट क्या है?
Sir? 23rd July.
Of no. So 30th 31st January is the first event. Then there are 5 events. उसके अलावा जो strictly science technology related departments नहीं है, उसमें भी हमारा कहीं ना कहीं दखल रहेगा. Like for example कोई power को लेकर के है. I think they have in Goa power वालों का एक event, power 20 or whatever. So उसमें भी चूंकि scientific inputs are involved, so we may be having a participation there. Sorry.
We have also some of the science working group with the Ministry of Environment and Forests and Earth
So
Sciences
yes, in
5
environment
locations separately.
events
So many
also,
are there.
environment events also. So 5 may be dedicated as such per se to science, but the other events also will have somewhere or the other, lesser or more involvement of science at different locations. Because of the environment concerns, the climate, power ministry, also roads and buildings.
Sir, this is Sumit Kumar Singh from India Today and IISF. Two small questions. One, we are celebrating, organizing and celebrating India International Science Festival. How the people living in the last village, border areas, what steps you have taken to connect those people with this festival? Question number 1. And how transfer of technology, how people are going to benefit, and what steps and efforts you have taken to transfer the technology for the betterment of society?
I think this is very relevant. This is precisely what I have been talking. Maybe I was using a different expression. Reaching out is, I think, one of the important objectives. So to reach out to every household, to every stakeholder, to every citizen, because technology is something now. Now we have technology which can be utilized in one way or the other, but by every citizen of the country. And that's why I also said, also identifying and grooming these startups who may not have reached us, so we reach out. So when we start this process, we'll go on, at least try to end at the last man in the last queue. And secondly, you said, how do you transfer the technology? So I think very important is to create stakes. We have to have a good synergy, research, academia, industry, startup. And when you create stakes, the transfer becomes easier. For example, if you do a research, develop a model through a startup, and then you start looking for market, it might become difficult. But if you engage the industry, so I think for that, which I have been suggesting sometime, because this was not a forum, we could do some kind of a market mapping, or we could do an industry mapping to find out what kind of actually startup or what kind of areas are the industry interested in. And when we start doing that, for reasons of livelihood, people will start connecting. अब जैसे सरकारी नौकरी है, आप एक इश्तिहार देते हैं, बिहार के दूर से दूर दराज गांव में भी कोई रहता है, लेकिन वो पटना आ जाता है इम्तिहान देने के लिए, because उसका स्टेक जुड़ता है livelihood. So if we link livelihood, it reaches out, process becomes easier. So we have to link industry right from the beginning with the startup movement. And I think gradually we'll be able to do that. क्योंकि ये धीरे धीरे होगा. And of course, friends like you are there for प्रचार प्रसार, awareness, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीज़ों का मालूम नहीं है लोगों को. हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करने वाले लोग हैं, लेकिन उनको यही नहीं मालूम है कि उनके ये टेक्नोलॉजी उपलब्ध है भारत में.
Any questions, please? Sir, since yesterday when I shared this information with the media people, I was flooded with requests that I should take a media team from Delhi so I spoke to Secretary DBT sir yesterday also. So we are planning to take a media team sir from Delhi.
For the event.
For the events.
तो वो शक्लेजा जी से पूछ लेना दूसरी बात.
Most welcome, sir. Most welcome, everybody. बिल्कुल अच्छा प्लाट भी दिलवा देंगे यार, उसकी भी कोई चिंता नहीं। बहुत अच्छा शहर है, बहुत एक्सपेंडिंग सिटी है।
Thank you, sir, for instilling us with the pride to celebrate R&D and scientific achievements of the country. We are certain that your guidance, support, and encouragement will set the stage for success of the upcoming event of IISF 2022.